What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Porter Rock 77. You know who I be, your host of the 60 Frames No Like podcast. And and I'm doing a little ad hoc live video right now. I just got off a podcast on Iron Wolf's channel. Check it out. The Greatness Podcast. We had a good time. We had I was a special guest. Titanfall Princess was on there, and J Dub City, aka Kratos. It was a good podcast. All right. And then, I was gonna move on from it. I've been playing while I was doing the podcast. Since it was on the PlayStation, you see, I was playing some games. Got this ugly ass camouflage controller. Just playing some games. But I gotta set the record straight on something. All right. Earlier today, Zaire posted a video. He posted a weird video saying for Xbox gamers and PlayStation gamers unite. And I'm thinking, all right, what's he doing? He's doing his anti-Switch campaign agenda. You know how he rolls. He's having fun with this. I go look at the video, and I notice it's something more than that. He made the video because of what Zobe70 done. All right. So once I heard the little bits and pieces that Zaire showed on Zobe, I went to Zobe's channel and listened to the video where he just started talking shit. You know what I'm saying? And this isn't the first time he threw a little shit. Now, it's not a big deal. It's not like I'm butthurt or I'm mad and stuff like that. All right. That's not the case. But I don't want him to throw me into the crime side of things, because he's saying things. He's changing up the story. He's making it seem like I'm trying to incite the console war and stuff like that. I want to shout out to the people in the channel: John Lee, Hellspawn, All Day Digital, Stone Gamer, Indian Socks, J1. Man, shout out to all you for showing up real quick. All right. But I'm trying to get at whether he's trying to troll, or have fun. I don't want his angle, but he's pushing information that's making it seem like I'm trying to start a console war, or I'm trying to incite the console war, or I'm trying to bash gamers and stuff like that. And I'm gonna give you the lowdown on what truly happened. All right. Send this to everybody. Let people know, because this is the truth. All right. It all started back on one of Zaire's podcasts, the ones he gives on Saturday called Gamer versus Gaming. He hasn't done a couple in a while, but it was one where I was on it, showstopper. Usually the podcast is with Zaire and Zobe, and myself and showstopper. Even showstopper showed up because it was live, and we were guests. Right? Of course, in Zobe fashion, he has a flair for the theatrics, as you know. Very energetic personality, as you can tell. Very energetic, very good YouTube personality. He has the flair for the theatrics, as you know. But a lot of times it's the flair that carries over and not what he's actually saying. Because if you get over his little routine of this is impossible, and the PlayStation, oh my god. If you bypass all that bullshit crap, all that emotional theatrics, the Emmy award winning, you could say, stage presence that he displays, and you just listen to the words that we're trying to say, a lot of times it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the bill. So, of course, my mic is fading away. How does it sound now? Does it sound now good? I hope it don't mess up. How does it sound now, Respawn? Maybe I'm shaking it up in too much and stuff. Hopefully it's not messing up. I'm saying. Anyway, let me get back. All right, Zobe's coming for us. Yeah, anyway. So he has this flair for the theatrics and all this stuff, right? But if you listen to his words, a lot of his stuff don't make sense. It's all stage presence. It's all acting. When you combine with his voice reflection, how hot he gets, or just the way his emotions show, it's entertaining. But if you simply just listen to what he said, yeah, not too much. So, of course, I will say this. Most of the time, he doesn't do podcasts. He just makes his own video, and he just goes off, and he wilds out. Okay, fine enough. But now he's on a podcast. No problem, Hellspawn. Now he's on a podcast with other personalities and other opinions and different views. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to say something on a podcast, there's going to be people who might challenge your views or who might bring up an alternate point or a different opinion or disagree, and it's going to voice it. It's not like making a video by yourself where no one's there to disagree with you. This is different. So a lot of his points I disagreed with, and my points ended up, logical, and they were backed up with facts. You know what I'm saying? One of the things we were arguing, we were talking about, the Nintendo Wii U, and he was damage controlling a console he doesn't even own, but he was controlling the failure of it. Because now he's on his Nintendo rampage. He's on his Nintendo groove, which is cool. Choose what you want. Hype what you want, have fun with what you want. But he went on his Nintendo groove, and he's talking all this stuff about Wii U and throwing shade at PS4. So I throw out arguments at him. One argument was, hey, no one cares about third party on Wii U. They buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games. So I told them, well, if people buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games, how come Nintendo didn't push out a lot of Nintendo games? There was no Metroids on there. Now they're finally showing a Zelda. There was no Donkey Kong. There was a lot of first party titles that's not there. So you didn't get a lot of third party, and you're not getting a lot of Nintendo games. So, and this is one of those examples where I say, he says it with emotion, but if you just sit back and listen to the words, it don't make sense. So of course he got angsty, and instead of answering the question, he threw a shot at PlayStation. He's like, well, one console doesn't have Donkey Kong. What about my PlayStation games that I haven't seen for 30 years? I'm like, what are you talking about? Where's my Legend of Dragoon? I'm like, okay, so you want to mention Legend of Dragoon? Well, for one, Legend of Dragoon isn't a PlayStation franchise. It was one game that released on the PlayStation 1. We didn't see a Legend of Dragoon on the PlayStation 2. We didn't see it on the PlayStation 3. So you can't consider that a franchise. And you certainly cannot compare it to Zelda, which is on every platform, on every Nintendo platform. That is a bona fide Nintendo franchise. Same thing with like Donkey Kong and Metroid. Those are bona fide franchises. So if you say people buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo franchises, then you gotta put Nintendo franchises. So we brought up that point. Then he brought it out like the sales, and and Nintendo actually buys first party games. And so my ask is, if the Wii U game sales were so good, why did Nintendo officially cancel production? Because around that time when we had the podcast, Nintendo announced they're no longer producing the console. They stopped production, like completely stopped it. So if it was doing that well, why did it stop production if it was selling all these great games and stuff? His reply was, because Nintendo goes on a 4-year cycle. That was his answer. Nintendo's sticking with their 4-year cycle, unlike Sony, Microsoft, who just milked their consoles. So then I ask again, okay, so if that's the case, why did Wii U last 6 years? Because last I checked, Wii U came out in 2006, and the Wii. Why did Wii last 6 years? Because the Wii came out in 2006, and the Wii U came out in 2012. Last I checked, that's 6 years, right? So he's saying 4-year cycle, but the Wii lasted 6. And then look at the handhelds. You're telling me Nintendo handhelds only last 4 years? Really? Let me tell you something. And we're talking about the Wii U being discontinued in 4 years. Let's look at the Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance was manufactured for so long, it was selling well into the PS3 era. In fact, at one point, I think it was April 2007 or May 2007. One of those 2 months, the Game Boy Advance actually outsold the PS3. And I remember because it was a huge bunch of ownage. PlayStation fans was getting ripped apart by the Xbox fan. Even Nintendo fans was ripping apart the PlayStation fans when the Game Boy Advance sold more than the PS3 at MPD. And it was either April 2007 or May. It's one of those 2 months. It was the month where PlayStation 3 sold like 86,000 units and Game Boy Advance sold like 89,000. You know what I'm saying? So he's talking about Nintendo has this 4-year strategy. I never heard of no 4-year strategy. There is no such thing as a 4-year strategy in console. There's no such thing as a company purposely making a console for only 4 years and then releasing it at a second. That's known. It discontinued 4 years because it was a failure. Just because 5 or 6 games have great sales doesn't mean the entire library have great sales. There was no game sales on the Wii. Nintendo had to cut off. Nintendo had to stop the bleeding. And then there was lots of other points, and it was just points after points after points that he was just getting shut down to the point where he just got embarrassed and stuff. And you know how Zaire goes. He doesn't matter who you are. You could be his fellow boy on the Xbox side. If you got embarrassed, he's gonna tell you, "Hey, bro, you know your eyes are cut up like Rocky." That's his little thing. That's his pet peeve. That's what he does on this channel. And Zobe felt some type of way. Now, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but because this is a recurring event, shortly after the Gamer versus Gaming podcast, Zobe did his own stream on the PlayStation 4. This was like around December. Like the week of the 20th. He did like a 4-hour stream. I didn't see it all, right? But this man said that we set him up. That Zaire set him up. You know what I'm saying? And that it was just a stream of him crying and he just I don't know. He was just in his feelings. But he was saying that he will never do a podcast again, and that Zaire set him up. And then I guess some people in the comment section asked him a question about me. I didn't see the question, whatever. But his reply was, Puerto Rock didn't get me. No, he doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know shit. Talking about whatever. So I was like, yo, this dude is talking about me, and it's just bugged out or whatever and stuff. So I'm like, okay. I let it go in December. You know what I'm saying? I just let it go. I let him in his feelings. I don't know if he was serious. It was almost Christmas. You know what I'm saying? In fact, I was listening to it in my car because I was driving on my way home, and that's when Zaire texted me. He's like, "Yo, you gotta check out the stream. You know, this dude is bugging out." So I played, over. I had my daughter. We were driving up to New York, and I'm playing it over the radio. She has her phone in her ears, listening to music. Then all of a sudden she takes off the music. She's listening to it, and she's looking at me like, "Yo, Dad, well, why is this dude talking about you like that? Like, what's wrong? Is he okay?" Yo, my daughter thought I was internet bullying the dude, which like, no, seriously, she thought I was like bullying him online because that's how sad he sounded. And I'm like, baby girl, it was just a podcast that we always do. You heard me do podcasts before. I don't know why he's acting like this. I really don't. And my daughter's like, yo, you know him? You need to call him to make sure he's all right. I'm like, I'm like, oh shit. And I'm thinking this dude's making me look like the bad guy. But that was just one time, and I'm like, I'm gonna leave it alone. But now he does another video today, and he just flips the hell out, talking about that we're 40 plus years old, thugging it on the internet. Like, I'm thugging it. He even tweets, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you 40 plus years old still thugging. Like, talking about facts is being a thug. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. I'm gonna talk to Vendetta Projects. Here you go. You are absolutely right, Puerto, but there's one thing. Zobe is absolutely right. The Wii U sold more games based on 13 million install base compared to PS4 and Xbox for it. So I'll say this, Vendetta. PlayStation 4 is surpassed PlayStation 2 at this point in this time with over 400 million game sales. Nintendo just released their final numbers for Wii U. It didn't even reach 100. Now you could say certain exclusives selling better than the PlayStation 4 exclusives, like various exclusives. I will give you that. But if that's the only thing you got to play, then chances are the few games that you do get to play are going to sell better because you have nothing else. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you have a crap load of choices for multiplats. It's not like, if you're going to choose, Mario Soccer, or should you go by Destiny? Nintendo gamers don't have that issue, because you don't have those big multiplats. Because believe it or not, games compete against each other. They just do. It's just a reality. If you have a lot of support, it's a gift and a curse. On one end, gamers have a lot of play, but on the other end, you can only buy so much. So yeah, if let's say if Uncharted was really the only thing you had all year, it'll probably even do better in sales. You know what I'm saying? That's just a reality. The fact is, the sales that the Wii U had wasn't enough. The game sales were terrible. Yeah, you can name 5-6 games, like 4 or 5 games that sold 5 million plus, but you can't survive on a console with just 4 or 5 games. You know what I'm saying? That sells 5 million plus. It needs to have a library of games. You have to treat each console as if it's the only console you're going to own. Every console has to be treated that way. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only whether the hardcore is going to say, it's a cool secondary console, it won't survive if everybody thinks like that. You know what I'm saying? Because majority of gamers won't buy secondary consoles. Most gamers don't. If that was the case, Xbox and PlayStation 4 would be neck and neck because everybody's buying both consoles. But you see disparity. There's 55 million PS4 consoles and 26 million Xbox One consoles. That is a clear indication most gamers are not multi-console gamers. And for whatever reason, maybe they just want one console, they can't afford it, they don't like the exclusives. We could have reasons from the ends of the earth. But majority of gamers are not multi-console. Some of them are just simple, one console, and that's what they go with. All right. But going back to Zobe. So he makes this podcast, you know what I'm saying? He cries on this thing, makes my daughter think I'm internet bullying people, which I don't believe because I told her not to do that. You know what I'm saying? I told her not to do that stuff. And now she's looking at me like I'm a hypocrite. And I had explained to her, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? That's I don't know why he's acting like that. You know, it's just not it. We were just on a podcast and we are just talking about games. You know, it's not like I was insulting his heritage or his culture or being racist or anything. We were just talking about games. He made a point, I made a counterpoint, and I just ended up correct. That's all it is. And there are times I make a point, other people make a counterpoint, and they end up correct. I take my L's, I take my W's. It's just all conversation. You know, I'm not gonna get in my feelings. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Okay. All right. All right, back to Vendetta. 8 million games on a 13 million install base means 1.5 I bought that game. So if you have 53 PS4 out there, that means every 65 point user bought and charging. That's a fact. You're right. I get the ratio. I'm not arguing the ratio. What I'm trying to tell you is it's not enough. Like if you're gonna say Nintendo games buy more first party games, you know, obviously if in the whole picture, if that was true, Wii U would still be here. It's a dead console. The total sales is less than 100 million. It was like 94 million total, while PlayStation gamers bought 400 million. You know what I'm saying? So because one game sold 8 million, it makes the Wii U great. It's dead. Whoever bought that console hardly used it. Sure, they may have bought what game sold 8 million, fucking whatever that game was. You think people were playing that game for 4 years? It only sold like 13 million units for a reason. Nobody wanted it. Granted, there's few exclusives that sold amazingly well, but at the same time, it's not like you had a lot of choice. It was either you buy that game or you bought. What else were you gonna buy? You understand what I'm saying? That's the point what I'm trying to say. You know, 55. The reason why there's 55 million PS4 users is not because of Uncharted. One exclusive was never a reason to buy a console. It's choice. It's a library of various games, whether they're exclusive or multi-plats. That's what a gaming console is supposed to do. Just release the games and let the consumer decide how they want to play their console. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. All right. And you can't say, what is it? But it was profit compared to install base, not compared to PS4, Xbox One, so they killed it. You can't say profit for the install base because they had to cancel the product. You know what I'm saying? The PlayStation 4 is still going strong, and that shit's going to go strong for a long time. Just take a look at the Wii, the original Wii. The Wii lasted 6 years. Take a look at Nintendo's handhelds. They don't get canceled in 4 years. There's a reason for that. It's because those specific were selling games consistently, you know, especially the handhelds. Those handhelds last like 10 years because they keep selling games. When your console is not selling games and can't sustain itself, you gotta close it. You gotta cut the umbilical cord. It's gotta get shut down. You know, 4 or 5 games that sell extremely well in a 4-year period doesn't mean anything if you can't sustain the longevity. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point what I'm trying to get. You know, but back to Zobe. But anyway, good conversation, Vendetta. You're bringing up good points, but at the end of the day, what's the point of saying you sold 8 million game and your console dies before 4 years? That's not sustainable. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee if the Switch goes through the same thing, Nintendo's going to have an issue. Switch cannot fail. Switch cannot pull a Wii. It has to sell, and it's going to have to sustain itself for at least 5 or 6 years. It cannot be another 4-year dud. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo will be in trouble if they repeat the Wii U. It would be bad for them. Anyway, back to Zobe in the situation. So, my daughter flipping out, thinking I'm bullying people. I'm trying to explain to her, no, I'm not bullying. You know what I'm saying? All right. And man, you guys in the comment sections are good trolls. Come on, PR Sony say, you know it's over for PS4. All right, so let's talk to you about PS4 Pro. Sony doesn't care if you don't buy the Pro. Doesn't care at all. You know why? Because it's not about the Pro, it's about the PlayStation 4 platform. If majority of the gamers buy PS4, let me show you something. I'll just pick any game random. Let's say Bloodborne. Everybody sees Bloodborne, right? let's just say, let's pretend this is Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's pretend Horizon Zero Dawn. It doesn't matter if you play it on the Pro or on the PS4 Slim. It's the same game. It's not like the Pro version of Horizon Zero Dawn. It costs $80. It doesn't matter. It's the same game. Whether you buy the Pro or the Slim, you're still gonna buy PlayStation content. You know what I'm saying? And that's all Sony cares about. All Sony cares about is you buying PlayStation content. That's it. That's all that matters. Okay. Now people say it's going to destroy Scorpio's going to destroy the Pro. Could be. You know, maybe people who want the high-end system, high-end graphics, and willing to pay the money, I'll sell the Pro. But with the Scorpio, I'll sell the Slim. Who by the time the Pro comes out, they could be selling that shit for $199. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Or $170. You're telling me a $500 console is going to sell a $170 console in November? Come on, man. No better. Never in console history has a more powerful but more expensive console outsold the cheaper one. Never. Never, never, never. Remember that. So learn the history. Learn that history real quick. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so again, damn, I keep cutting off. But so daughter thinks I'm crazy. I'm telling her that happened, but I let it go. I let it slide. Zaire posted a video up. I listened to the video. I thought it was just him, you know, on his anti-Nintendo rampage. You know, he's been doing that. But it was specifically targeted at Zobe because of what Zobe's video did. So now I listened to Zobe's video, and he's talking again about the podcast we went through, calling us 40-year-old, you know, console slaves, we're inciting it, we're internet thugging it, and he's saying all this crazy shit. Shit that, you know, that I don't do. I don't internet thug. I don't bully people. You know what I'm saying? I don't do any of that shit. You know, I'm on a podcast. I debate, I talk, and have conversation with other people on the podcast. Hell, even on my podcast, 60 frames, no lag, I invite Xbox people on my podcast. I try to get Nintendo people, but it seems like they don't want to get on. I guess they just want to throw shade in the dark or whatever. I mean, if you listen to my podcast, it's not about the fanboy embarrass people. I want people to bring their point of view onto my podcast. I want that point of view. You know what I'm saying? I want people to have their negative opinions about PS4. I'm cool with that. I remember one of my first podcasts with HP North. He went off on PSN, and I let him do it. Some of my subscribers, they went on Twitter, and they didn't like that. But I replied to them like, listen, I'm not here to suppress opinions. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about the First Amendment rights. If you got shade to throw on the PS4, it's cool. Just make sure it makes sense and make sure you're not disrespecting people. You know, don't use racism or derogatory terms. Like, you never hear me on my podcast or even on Twitter. You never see me call anybody an X-fag. I don't call people that. I don't use any of those things. You know, I don't even use the word like X-slaves or any of that. I may use X-bot or X-dude, but I don't do anything super derogatory to insult people. It's not that serious. That's just not how I am. I never use those words on whatchamacallit. You know, and I don't use words like Nintendo fag or any crazy thing like that. I don't use that. I will not insult people because of their preference in console. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm doing, okay? So the reason why I'm making this podcast is in the event somebody sees Zobe's video, and they put two and two together and they realize, oh, this dude's talking about Puerto Rock. I didn't realize Puerto Rock was this type of dude. Please direct them to this video. I don't bully people. I don't go internet thugging. All right? I don't do any of that. I discuss games. I welcome different opinions on my channel. I'm all about getting any type of game I can. PC gamers, Nintendo gamers. Hell, if you listen to podcasts and you know some Nintendo YouTubers, show them this video. Tell them, yo, you should get on Puerto Rock's podcast. He would love to have you. PC gamers. Hell, my second episode, I talked about mobile gaming. I had a dude named Pocket Console, my brother-in-law, Pocket Console. He's a mobile streamer, and I did a one-on-one with him. So I even talked about mobile gaming. I haven't talked about it in a while, but I even did that. I'm all about opinions and ideas and conversations. You know what I'm saying? Just because I may not like a product doesn't mean I think it shouldn't exist or that nobody else should have the right to enjoy it. If you enjoy the Switch and you're excited about it, go for it. In fact, I would love to hear your opinion on why. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm jaded with the last 10, 15 years of Nintendo, then I'm not seeing the bigger picture. And I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is, you know. So that's the record straight. I don't want no beef with Zobe. I'm too old for that. That's not what I am. I wouldn't mind having debates and conversation with him about gaming. But if he's gonna take it there, if he's gonna go in this crazy rant, doing court jester shit, then I don't want no part of that. I don't want to look foolish on some crazy shit. I want to have conversations. I'll have debates. I'll have arguments, and just talk about gaming and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna go into this craziness that he's trying to start and whatever. That's his thing. If that's how he does his channel, and if that's how he represents himself, and that's why his fans like and his subscribers like, then cool. But I'm not gonna take part in that. You're not gonna see me act a fool for a dude that has issues just simply because he can't take L's on his points. And you would think he will learn. You would think he'd be like, you know what? Damn. Those are good points, Puerto Rock, you know, because I learned from some good points from people too. That's how I get better. That's how I get smarter. That's how I'm able to provide you guys with content and information. Because I learn, you know what I'm saying? I listen. I hear other people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, you know, dance to the beat of my own drum. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm talking about. And holy shit, 40 people liking this? Yo, that's crazy. Yo, hit that like button, subscribe. I appreciate it. Yo, I didn't think I was gonna get that. But yo, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Is there any questions you want to answer? Because I know this is a video I normally don't do these videos, but let me know. Is there any questions you want me to answer right now? You know, since you people took the time to be on my channel and stuff like that. And what's up? And then, hey, Portak, I'm an Xbox. I have a question for you. I know you're a PS4 lover and you will damage the Xbox on this news, but I want to hear your opinion on this. Okay, why? Man, don't worry. Zobe is just okay. All right. So, Vendetta, what do you want to hear our opinion on what? All right. Hey, Portak, I'm an Xbox guy. I have a question for you. I know you are a PS4 lover. You will damage the Xbox on this news, but I want to hear your opinion. What news? What news are you talking about? Listen, bro. I may have some negative news on the Xbox. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, I'm gonna get the console too as well. I wanted it for Scalebound. That was my main thing. But it is what it is. But my opinion, Xbox is a good console. Is it better than PS4? In my opinion, no. But does that make the Xbox a bad console? No. Does that mean you should think the PS4 is better? No. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you like the damn Atari Jaguar more than the PS4, that's your opinion. Enjoy what you enjoy. You know what I'm saying? At no point am I trying to throw shade at the Xbox community and stuff. But anyway, what's your question? Let me see if anybody else has a question while you type yours. Don't worry, Joey's off his meds. I guess so. I don't know. Let's see. Well, I play all consoles. Is there any questions? I slapped the like button. Now I'm gonna go slap on Full Nelson's zombie. What? Booker T, man. My man's tripping, bro. Booker T's been tripping. Right? No questions? Come on, PR. Why you had to say Scalebound? I'm just saying, bro. I'm still in my feelings. Okay. Microsoft will bring mouse and keyboard support to the Xbox brand, and I completely hate it. Why? Unfair compare gameplay. I think it will not only hurt the Xbox. All right. I see what you're typing. I see what you're saying. You're talking about the Microsoft keyboard and mouse support. All right. My opinions on the Microsoft, it depends on the fan base. I mean, I'll say this. You know, the Xbox console, you know, I'll get it and stuff like that. Or console gaming in general, because it could come to PS4 too. I would say mouse and keyboard on console, yes, it could provide an unbalance to console gaming, but I would say it's particularly to the FPS. I think for the FPS genre, that's where it hurt the most. But think about it this way, all right? I want you to think about it this way, Vendetta. You ever played a fighter on a console? Like Street Fighter or Killer Instinct or something like that to that nature? You ever play those games on consoles? Right? So if we all play fighters on consoles, we all know people who buy fighter sticks have an advantage over people with controller. You ever thought about that? You ever thought about that, Vendetta? Like Street Fighter 5, if you play on PS4, you know, it's crossplay. You know, you get to play with PC gamers. So when I play with PC gamers, you don't think some of them are using fighter sticks against me? Think about that. Here's another question, and I just want to ask you this. When you play Forza, Vanetta, you like Forza? Can you answer that question, Vendetta? Like Forza Motor, especially Motorsport, the simulation one. You know what I'm saying? Forza Motorsport. You like playing that? Well, let's assume that you do, because a lot of Xbox dudes like Forza Motorsport, right? You don't think there's people playing that game with a weight racing wheel? Your controller can't go head toe to toe with a racing wheel and a stick shift and all that. You're gonna get burned. I personally know that shit from Gran Turismo. That's why I can't stand that fucking game. I can't stand racers. You know, I'm just talking about Horizon 3. I'm talking about Forza, like Forza 6, actual motorsport. You ever try racing that game? You ever notice some players are like super good at turns and stuff than others? It's because they're using a racing wheel. I will say this: the main concern is people are concerned with FPS. I will say this: to protect the console gamers, I think they should have at least the option to restrict the type of control. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I think they should restrict the type of control. Um, do I think they should stop and not allow it? That's a hard thing. I would like to say no, but then that's like anti-gamer because some gamers would like to have the option to use it. So let's say like a game like Halo Wars 2, it would probably be great to play on a mouse and keyboard, vice, a controller. You know, because it's an RTS. RTS traditionally does a lot better. I think if Microsoft's going to go with this keyboard and mouse, they need to put in a function to where options you could say controller only. You know what I'm saying? That way, people who want to play with just controllers, they can have that option. People who don't care, they have the options, and people who only want to play mouse and keyboard, they have the options. You know. Now, I know the concern was, I know the concern. I could say the concern with that, it could split the fan base. Because let's say if you have a fan base that only plays with keyboard, but then you have a fan base that only plays with mouse, you technically have two different groups under the same platform, under the same game. Why would Microsoft do this? I think it's obvious. It's because of the play anywhere strategy. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when you're playing PC gamers, you can't say, well, they have the advantage, they have mouse and keyboard. Microsoft could say, well, we allow Xbox to have mouse and keyboard too, so you could be on the same playing field as PC. It's new territory. I don't know if Sony's going to go that direction. I don't see a reason why, simply because they're not into releasing the same games on the PS4 onto the PC, and I'm talking about first party. Third party is different, but you know, like you won't see Uncharted 4 and Bloodborne anytime soon until like the PS5 come out. So I can see your concern, brother. Hopefully it works out. My man said, "Sorry, fuck Halo Wars, not games into that." But you know, but I don't know. Hopefully it works out. I say just at least the option. Microsoft should at least give the option to you know select the type of gamers you want to play if they're gonna do that. Anybody else? What other game? What other questions out there? Let me see. Let me look at it, man. I really appreciate this, man. Man, 41 people watching. That's amazing. Hit that like button, man. Hook me up. Subscribe. Um, yeah, I feel what you're saying, Vendetta. Nobody can control that. If only Microsoft implements those controls. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, like when you put the input, you know how like you unplug a controller or your power turns off, the game knows that your controller's not plugged in. Well, if they could find a way where they could know what input you're using, and then from there you can set your settings. You know, you set your settings right from the menu. Like kind of like a Street Fighter. I could set my settings where I only play against PS4 gamers. You know, something similar, a little bit more detailed. You know, controller only lobby or keyboard mouse welcome, things like that. You know, I'd say that could make it a little bit better. Stuff like that. What is it? This is from LA. PR. Do you think that we know for Xbox is we will see this year? I personally don't. What? Let me see. Do you think that what we know for Xbox is what we will see? Oh, you're talking about like the hardware? It's hard to say on what we're gonna get for Xbox in terms of hardware. If that's what you're talking about, I will say this: it's gonna be more powerful than PS4. To what degree? I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna use Zen, if they're gonna use Vega GPU. I don't know exactly. It's gonna be more powerful. I don't know if it's going to be native 4K across all games or native 4K across first party. I will say this. I will hope Microsoft does its own event, like in May, before E3, just to talk about the hardware and just the hardware. Give us the breakdown. Let us know the expectations. And then that way, E3, it's all about the games for June E3. I think that's what I would do. Okay? I think so. There's my wife. That's Mrs. Porter Rock over there telling me it's time to eat. Hi, honey. Okay, no, but they can hear you. Oh, I'm just letting them know. But anyway, so I'll be there in a few, babe. Um, so I would hope they do that. You know, what I'm saying I can't tell you that what they're gonna have, but it will be more powerful than the Pro. That's gonna be obvious. It's gonna be more powerful than the Pro. To what lengths, I don't know. To what components, I don't know. I'm just saying it should be within the 399, 499 range because I think anything higher than that is a little bit of trouble for the Pro. But it is what it is. We'll see. Hopefully they do their own show. That's what. Hopefully they don't unveil it at E3. They do its own separate unveiling, so that way E3 could be more about the games. And by the way, you'll get a Scorpio, man, because you will get what the Pro didn't do for. I didn't even get the Pro. And so let me tell you something. Look at this face. I want to make sure. Let me look at my shit. Look at this face. You see this face? I never hype power. Never in this generation. Never, never, never. Look at this face. I don't own the Pro. I don't even have 4K TV. At first, I was going to get 4K TV, but there's so many games coming out, I just couldn't justify the budget. So I'm just sticking with the games. I was never one to hype power. Some of my most favorite consoles throughout the gen were usually underpowered compared to the more popular one or to the more powerful one. So I don't see the sense in bragging about power. Now, I'm not saying PlayStation gamers never brag about power. I'm not saying that. You know, I'm not saying the trolls and whoever went in on this power spree. All I'm saying is I was not one of those. You know what I'm saying? I was never about the power. PlayStation 1 was underpowered compared to N64. PlayStation 2 was weaker than Xbox and GameCube. You know, PlayStation 3, even though it was more powerful, but the inferior architecture or the architecture didn't allow, 360 had a better architecture, which had the better running of multiplats. I prefer the Genesis or Super NES, and the Genesis was weaker than the Super NES. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the consoles I enjoyed were weaker consoles. So that was not my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I never put that. So am I buying a Scorpio? No, I'm not buying a Scorpio because again, I'm not getting a 4K TV anytime soon. And it's gonna be my secondary console. Why about to hear? I don't know. I'm about to find out and stuff. Maybe it's some arroz con gandule. You know how we do all day. You know what I'm saying? My man's asking because he want a plate. Okay, you go. Then why people claim Sony was the shooter box and not the diverse console? Are you talking about for the PS4? I could say in the beginning the popularity of Call of Duty. The contract, the marketing. All you hear is Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Battlefield. So you can make an argument. What makes Sony diverse or PlayStation diverse in games is like a lot of the niche games that don't appear on MPD. Every month, year after year after year. That's why they make the argument, oh, PlayStation was the shooter box. But when you look at PlayStation as a whole, a lot of things that make PlayStation weren't big sellers. They weren't 5, 6, 7 million sellers. I mean, look at Legend Dragoon. That game didn't even sell 1 million, and that was on PS1. So there's a lot of games that don't chart month after month, but the options there to buy, and that's what a lot of PS gamers appreciate. Like me, I like Japanese games, but you're not gonna see me buy Naruto in One Piece or Attack on Titan. I'm not into those games. But I'm into the Yakuza. I'm definitely getting Neo. What I'm saying? I'm into those games. So it depends on what flavor of Japanese games you like, and it's just a variety. What I'm saying? But in terms of popularity, shooters are just popular because that's just it. FPS is like the easiest genre to sell. That's why you see a whole lot of them. My man said, yo, who's someone that popped on side for me, fam, with some ketchup. That's what I'm talking. Mayo ketchup. You know what I'm saying? Praise that 499 price, bro. I don't know about that. I mean, if you're willing to pay for it, good for you, bro. Mid-cycle refresh is dumb as fuck on both, trying to chase something they can't catch. I agree with you all day. I don't know if this mid-fresh, to me, the only reason why I think they're doing this in the first place is because they want to repeat what happened last gen with 360 and PS3. They want a 7-8 year console. I mean, cycle. They want that long console because you see how long it's taking games to make. It's taking 2-3 years to make. So a 5-year console is not going to cut it. A 5-year cycle is not going to cut it if you can only make maybe 1, maybe 2 games in that cycle. So they want this 8-9 year stretch, but I think they figure by releasing mid-gen refreshes that will sustain. So let's say like right now, you look at an Xbox Scorpio, and you may think, you know what, $499 for that? Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my Xbox One. But in 4 years, when they don't announce new consoles, and you're tired of your Xbox One or Xbox One S, it's 2021, 2020. Your console's kind of dated. You're kind of tired of it. Now you're looking at the Scorpio, and by that point, it's like $299, maybe $250, cheaper price. You'll get yourself a Scorpio in 4 years. at 250, and now you got upgraded graphics on a 4K TV. In 4 years, you'll probably have a 4K TV. You see what I'm saying? So it's not going to be a big seller now. Pro and Scorpio is not going to be a big seller now. These consoles, in my opinion, are the 2019, 2020 consoles. Because everybody, by that point, because you figure by 2019, you're talking 6 years in the market. That was around the time people started getting sick of, the PS3 and the Xbox. 6, 7 years into the cycle, they're like, we're tired. We need new consoles. So if you look at it now, 2019, people are going to be sick of the PS4 and Xbox One, Xbox One S. That's where that Pro and Scorpio comes in. And by that point, you're talking 2 years from now, it'll be cheaper. Pro will probably be 250. Scorpio will probably be 350, 300. People will upgrade, get better graphics on your 4K TV. But here's the kicker. It's still the same gen. We're still going to be playing the same games. You know what I mean? And I think that's the plan. They want these generations to be 8, 9 years, But what they did was they threw in these new-gen consoles. If you don't want it now, fine. You'll be happy what you want. But I guarantee you're going to get tired of your PS4 at some point. Just like the PS3, everybody was tired of it. Or the 360. You're going to get tired of it. And you want better graphics. Well, now you got a Scorpio. Got a Pro. It's probably $200. Just buy that. But we're still stuck in the same gen. So I think that's what they're trying to do. Let's see what else. Out of all those type of games, Naruto was one of the best in my opinion. Hey, it's cool. I'm just saying, I didn't say the game was bad. But what I'm saying, diversity with these Japanese games, you pick what you like. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it is. Sony needs to make a boss-ass FPS game. Man, Sony needs to stay away from that shit. That shit is done. FPS genre, that's just my opinion. FPS genre is saturated. There's just way too many FPS games. You know what I'm saying? I know things Scorpio will crush the Pro. It probably, technologically, it's going to be a more powerful console than Pro. I'm not going to fanboy over that. It's Pro. It's gonna be a beast, It's just to extent, but it's gonna be better than what we have now with the Pro in terms of power and performance. It's of course any console, unless you're Nintendo, when you release a console a year later and more expensive, it should be more powerful. Now if it was a Nintendo doing this shit, then I would have my reservations. But it's Microsoft, so it's gonna be a more powerful console. Already have 4K TV. You a lucky dude. Let's see what else we got. Portal Rock, they're future proof. Yeah, you're correct. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what we got. Like Near's one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Near 2. I'm looking the two games I want. The first two games I'm gonna kick off 2017 is Neo and Horizon. You know what I'm saying? Them shits look dope. And then I'm looking for Near Platinum Games. Looks dope, and it's just a lot of stuff. Yakuza looks cool. I don't think I'm gonna mess with Tales of Berseria. I'm gonna stay away from that one. Maybe if there's a drought or something, I don't know. And see PS3 review 2019, we'll see. Let's see PS3. Be real, bro. Remember when we had to go to mom and pop spots to get Japanese games, and most of them was fire? Man, I remember those days, bro. When you think about PS, a lot of people forgot about that. If you've been gaming for a long time, gaming was pretty much Japanese gaming. Nintendo, Sega, these were all Japanese consoles. NEC was Korean, maybe, I think. Maybe it was Japanese, but it was all foreign consoles. The only American console was actually Atari, and you saw how they fell badly, lack of quality control. So most of the people that's been around the block, especially N64, Sega Genesis, Dreamcast, PlayStation, Neo Geo. I think the only other American console was Philips CDI. I think that was the only other one, American console. But most of console gaming for a while has been Japanese gaming. Now, American Western developers have truly stepped their game up. The development, the products they release, you know what I'm saying? They stepped their game up in terms of gameplay, whatever. The only thing I give Saturn, good point, Timefall. The only thing I give Japanese games, a lot of them don't come as broken or as many issues as Western games. Western games tend to have a lot more issues, and that's why you see all these patches and patches. And Japanese games, you don't see that as much. But my thing is, and I'll say this about the Xbox community, there's a growing Western versus Japanese mindset. And for you Xbox dudes, you need to stop that. It's not about Western versus Japanese. It's about getting both. Don't worry about the charge to sells. Just get both. You may not like it, but I guarantee there are 26 million Xbox gamers. Somebody likes JRPGs on that platform. Somebody likes Japanese games. So don't make it a us versus them argument. Just try to find ways. I mean, you guys have the eyes and ears. You have the ears of Microsoft exec. Just get the software onto your platform and let the gamers sort it out. Don't make this a Western versus Eastern argument. There's no place for that. Your console should be supported by every region in the world, whether it's Europe, Canada, North America, America, Japan, Korea, wherever they make games. Get it on your platform. Let the console gamers decide. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry so much about charts. Let the gamers decide what they want to play. Just remember that. That's my advice to you Xbox gamers. Don't make it us versus them. Remember a year and a half ago, how many Xbox gamers were bashing PS4 gamers for playing Rocket League, soccer cars, and then 8 months later it goes on Xbox, and a lot of you have fun with it. You see what I'm saying? So look at it that way. Don't argue for not having a game. Try to find a way to get the games, whether it's to talking to the execs, whatever you do online. Just try to get the stuff. Just try to get games, even if you don't like it. Like me, like I said, I don't care about Naruto or Attack on Titan, but I would never Damage Control of those games not come into the PlayStation 4 because there are games that would like it, and that's all we can ask for, just choice. All right, doesn't mean you have to like it, but somebody else will enjoy it. I have soccer cars on both systems. Just that means you like it. So I'm saying, any other question? Let me take one more big question. Then I'm gonna head out of here before Mrs. Porter Rock comes, takes this laptop and smashes over my head live on this stream, which you guys will probably like a lot. So I'm trying to prevent that. So what's going on? One more. What's going on? Any more? One more question. One more big question. And I appreciate that, man. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? No more questions? That's it? Whoa! Papa Woody, man, this guy always starting some shit. Wendy, maybe you shouldn't be so fucking two-faced in GKB, but you said nothing of that. Wow, you're just a... What? Yo, man, leave my boy alone, bro. Wendy's my boy, you know what I'm saying? He's a true gamer, and he loves his Xbox, you know what I'm saying? Damn. Yo, see, now we're about to start a fight, man. Some shit's about to start. Fucking Papa Woody, bro. You always starting some shit on every podcast, my man. Fucking Woody, bro. What kind of man calls himself Woody? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Anyway, people, this is so funny. Anyway, man, hey, I just want to say I appreciate, man, Woody coming in, always throwing some drama. Man, he always harassing me on Zair's podcast. I'm gonna go after your ass this Thursday. Watch. But anyway, hey, I appreciate everybody just joining live. I'm glad you guys having a good convo and stuff like that. It's a trip. This went up to 40 viewers. I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate all of you helping me get to over 500 subscribers. It was an amazing feeling, and just keep it growing. And you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I'm gonna be out tomorrow. I have my podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern, 60 frames no lag. Hashtag, man, hashtag. This is the hashtag for that. 60FNL, you know what I'm saying? When you see that shit, you know what I'm saying? I just posted it. Asshole. Fucking all right, Bunny Robo. All right, you motherfucker. Anyway, nah, I just can't go online. Anyway, you see that hashtag, you know what I'm saying? Hashtag that shit. Like, subscribe. And then I'll see you tomorrow, man. But anyway, I set the record straight. That's it, right? You all take care, and you know this sound. You know that sound. Yeah, you let Zaire know that's my sound. Everybody's using my sound now. Nobody noticed it. Everybody was just doing the little crappy. That's all they were using. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm thinking, man, let me see this happy face. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start off my podcast with that. Now everybody wants to do it. That's some shit, right? You know what I'm saying? That's messed up. Tell them I'm gonna sue people. Anyway, y'all take care, all right? Hey, you'll be good. If you could tune in tomorrow, tune in. So anyway, like, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter, and that's it. If you want to keep talking shit on Twitter. I'll reply. You know what I'm saying? I'm thick skinned. All right. Anyway, you take care. You have a good night, all right? Thanks for stopping by. Peace.